Good morning. And instead of Sunday night, it is Monday morning. And welcome to, week 3 of our class. And I think it's going to be another interesting one, as its first 2 have been. Oh, and let me belatedly wish everyone, all the mothers in the audience, happy Mother's Day. And I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. We had here in Connecticut one of the most gorgeous Saturdays and a absolute terrible washout Sunday weather. But fortunately for Post, the fabulous weather was on Saturday when we had our commencement ceremony. Ironically, the first one we've had indoors in many, many years. So it was nice, but the procession and everything outdoors went really well. And for those of you who are in a degree program, let me just encourage you when the time comes, take part in the ceremony. It's a really important part of your educational process. It's a kind of thing that caps it off, and it's just a wonderful day, and I urge everybody to take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. Okay, where are we going? Where have we been? Last week we looked at some barriers to diversity. We looked at you picking a particular item, a condition of diversity that you wanted to look at. Many people have expressed a lot of things about. One of the big things that kept coming up was language, and I know I commented to several people about my experiences with that. And once again, I tried to get to just about most of you at one point in one of the 2 discussion boards, and I apologize if I didn't, or maybe sometimes if I don't jump in with your discussion, it may be a compliment as well, because it could be that discussion is going so well that I don't want to interfere. So that's another point, that some little tactic I sometimes use. This week we're moving into a little bit, not new areas, but we're moving into a little bit more specific look at some problems and taking us away from some of the more obvious, where I think most people who haven't studied it look at when we talk about diversity, they immediately go to the two big items of race and gender. And now we're going to look at 3 specific areas, and sometimes we don't think of them, but they are conditions in which, discrimination can happen. And we're going to talk about sexual orientation. We're going to talk about weight, which surprises somebody, and they say, "Oh yeah, but that's for real." And one that's of some concern to me now, as I have been, as I'm getting a little older myself, age, and seeing how that plays out in the workplace. So these are 3, as I said, I chose the word conditions. Maybe that's a bad choice. Maybe I think what we need to say is these are not really definitions of diversity. They're excuses, or they're reasons. These are not actions. Age discrimination is not an action. Discriminating against somebody because of their sexual identity is not anything but an action. Discriminating against somebody because of their weight or appearance is not anything but an action. But what causes these actions? They're the reason that is given for somebody feeling that they can take the opportunity to actually engage in this biased behavior. So, as I've said to some people in the discussion last week, and some people use the word attitude, some people use the word biases. I'm saying what happens, at least from my experiences, these biases come from somewhere. They're from somewhere in our history, in our upbringing, in our community, in what we have experienced. People form the bias before they act on it. Okay? Now, are they always aware that they possess these biases? Are they always aware that they have these discriminatory tendencies? I don't think so. But our job in taking advantage of diversity in the workplace is helping people understand what these biases are, where do they come from, and how do we avoid them from getting in the way of working with all kinds of people and getting the best for our organization. So that's what this week is going to be all about. And I think it's going to be a little bit interesting because it's going to ask us all to focus in on these three topics, on these three areas. And I think we're going to have to maybe get a little bit deeper, do a little bit of independent research, do a little bit of extra reading, and make sure we understand what we're looking at is no longer general and may not be at the top of the mind of people we encounter outside of the course. So I think that's very important. Another writing assignment, what I'm going to do for practicalities this week. This week I'm really going to try to make that Wednesday deadline. I got interfered with by a lot of main campus responsibilities that I still have. Still teaching some courses on campus. Well, with all the rushing I did to get done by Friday, I discovered, to my benefit, thank you, that I really don't have to have it done until this Wednesday. So that just means I'm ahead of the game. And I'm going to try to pay more attention to your work. And if I did promise a few people some specific comments, I will get to those and get you some more information today. And generally, I think the writing is a pretty good indication of people's real thoughts about a matter. You can get in a little deeper. You can get in and bring in some research and everything. You're not responding to anybody's back and forth. You're looking at a set of questions. I would urge everyone to make sure that when you do start the writing assignment, go in and read the rubric first. All right? That's going to tell you how to do it. And that's going to tell you the criteria that we use to judge the work on. I am going to again try to be helpful, not critical, helpful in commentary as to what I see as how I think the writing can be improved, and not just the content, but the form. The form is important. It's going to help you in the future. Thank you very much. Oh, and one other point, and this is not because I'm trying to attract viewers to these videos. One thing that could help you with the writing is a couple of tips and little things about communication style and communication form that I put in the week 2 midweek video. And as of last night, there were only 3 views on that video, which means most of you didn't take advantage of it, didn't take the chance to view it. I would ask that you do so, because I have tried to address some of the issues with writing papers and giving presentations in that video, and I think maybe I'm just too full of myself, but I think it might help you as you do some of this kind of work in the future. So looking forward to another great week. This has been one of the most interesting online courses that I've had the opportunity to teach in a long time, and you folks are making it fun for me, and if we can have more fun, I think we'll have more learning. So thank you again, and as always, if you have any questions, please contact me, as many of you have, and I'll try to get back to you right away. Thanks again.